So, to move on to another area of work, another area that we've taken interest in recently is marine acoustics. Now, the soundscape, the sound environment is something that's been given more and more credence recently, sort of under European policies that we've adopted. So understanding how noisy it is and all the human impacts, things like boats or pile driving, is actually really important. And we think about the acoustic environment and we immediately think of the songs from the humpback whales and the dolphins squeaking and things like this. But our fish are acoustically sensitive, as are a lot of our crustaceans and other animals. So there's an awful lot of potential impact that we don't fully understand yet. So we have a number of tools for working on this. Behind Cliff and these guys here, there's some bits of kit that are laid out on the seafloor. These will leave sometimes months at a time, recording both the animals and the ambient noise in the environment. And then there's other tools like this array that you can see here. This has a whole number of hydrophones, underwater microphones inside this chamber. And this is towed behind the ship, hundreds of meters behind the ship. And then in real time, when we process all the signals, we can actually localize and in some cases identify the species of animals or vessels, which is obviously not a species of vessel, but we'll identify what we're actually sort of listening to. And we can build up maps again. Helps people with development. If we understand what's there, you can actually plan to conserve them, whether it's for protected areas or saying the area isn't really used by porpoises, so it probably is okay to go ahead with wind farm development. But these are all the sort of applications. So some of the sounds are obviously too low for us to hear, so this is why we use computers. And a lot of the sounds, things like porpoises, are far too high for us to hear. The porpoises make bats sound like basses, really. They're such high frequency clicks up at the top end of this frequency spectrum here. So human hearing is sort of within this belt here along the bottom here, and you will be able to hear if I can pull up the right. I'm trying to turn off the video. Yeah, that's off. You should be able to hear things like animals that we have detected that are very rare, and until we published it. These are the clicks of sperm whales that we recorded off the north coast. So previously thought not to be in the shallow coastal waters. We published these findings and people said, no, rubbish. A few years later, 2 sperm whales turned up in Oban Bay, for everybody to see them. So there was no doubt that they were sperm whales. They were just off the beach. That visual identification, of course, is really useful to complement the acoustics. That's something that Kathy here, who's a student with us, is specialising in. I'll let her introduce her project, but Kathy is involved in a lot of the visual and acoustic elements of marine mammal survey with us.